All right, welcome back everybody for another deep dive. Today we're looking at the idea of competition.
Okay.
And you know how it can kind of get out of control, especially with social media?
Yeah.
We've got this quote from Záda Beasley,
Okay.
who runs her own company. She's a CEO.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, social media will have you believing you need to catch up with people
Oh, wow.
whom you've already passed.
I like that.
And I thought that was so interesting because so many of us
Yeah.
get caught up in that, you know?
I think so many people experience that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think we get caught up in this comparison trap.
Mm-hmm.
And social media is like the fuel, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just adding fuel to the fire because you're
Because it's-
constantly seeing these snippets of other people's lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's easy to get caught up in thinking.
It's like the best versions of their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's the highlight reel. It's
Yeah.
not the behind the scenes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Of the struggles and the challenges.
Beasley also talks about being in survival mode.
Right.
And she says that when you're there, like when you're really just hustling to stabilize, you know, your revenue or whatever it is that you're working on,
Yeah.
that's when it's especially easy to like fall into that trap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. Your energy
Yeah.
is so precious in those moments, right?
Really?
Like when you're just trying to get by, when you're in survival mode,
Yeah.
you need every ounce of energy just to keep moving forward.
Right.
And comparing yourself to others is like this massive energy drain.
Totally. And it's like it's like adding more weight.
Or weight, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You're already carrying a heavy load.
Exactly.
And then you're like, oh, let me just pile on some more self-doubt and comparison.
Exactly. And then Beasley talks about like what you consume.
Yes.
And it made me think about like, okay, obviously what you eat,
Sure.
but also what you're like reading and watching.
Like, how does that play into this?
I think it plays a huge role. You know, we're bombarded with information all the time,
Yeah.
especially on social media. And it's so easy to start comparing our lives to these curated realities that
Totally.
people present online.
Totally. So how do you think people can deal with that?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with awareness, right? Like just being mindful of how social media makes you feel.
Yeah.
If you're scrolling through your feed and you're constantly feeling inadequate
Right.
or envious, then it might be time to reevaluate
Yeah.
who you're following or what content you're engaging with.
So like unfollow people.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's necessary, right?
Yeah.
Like if there are certain accounts that consistently triggered
Yeah.
negative emotions for you, then yeah, unfollow them or at least mute them
Right.
so you're not seeing their content all the time.
Okay.
And on the flip side, seek out accounts that inspire you, that uplift you,
Mm-hmm.
that align with your values and your goals.
So curate like your feed.
Exactly. Curate your own experience.
Okay.
Make it a positive one.
I like that.
Yeah.
So another thing that I read about today was this idea of like, grow at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's okay if it takes you longer
Yes.
to achieve something.
Absolutely.
And it kind of goes back to that whole comparison thing.
Totally. It ties in perfectly because I think comparison often makes us forget
Yeah.
that we're all on different journeys, right?
Oh.
We have different starting points, we have different goals, we have different timelines, and it's so important to remember that what matters is that you're making progress
Yeah.
towards your own goals, not how that progress compares to someone else's.
So just focus on you.
Exactly. Focus on your own lane and celebrate your own wins.
I like that. And going back to Beasley,
Yeah.
she also says like, only look back to remember the lessons. What do you think she means by that?
Yeah, I think she's talking about the importance of reflection. Right, like taking the time to look back on your experiences, both the good and the bad,
Yeah.
and extracting the valuable lessons from them.
Yeah.
But it's not about dwelling on the past. It's about learning from it.
Okay.
And then using those lessons to inform your future decisions.
So like, don't beat yourself up about the past.
Yeah, let it go.
Learn from it.
Learn from it and move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about feedback? Do you think that's a part of this?
Oh, absolutely. I think feedback is crucial for growth.
Okay.
Whether it's positive feedback that reinforces what you're doing well, or constructive criticism that helps you identify areas for improvement.
Yeah.
It's all valuable information,
Okay.
but I think the key is to view feedback as a learning opportunity
Okay.
rather than a judgment of your worth. It's not
Yeah.
personal.
Okay.
It's about helping you become better.
So just take it and
Yeah, take it, man.
learn from it.
Learn from it and use it to grow.
Okay, I think we covered a lot today. It sounds like what we should really do is like curate what we look at, especially on social media.
Absolutely.
And then just focus on ourselves and what we're doing and how we're growing.
And celebrate your wins along the way.
Celebrate your wins,
Yeah.
big and small.
I like that. Any other final thoughts?
Yeah, I think instead of comparing yourself to others, try to shift your perspective a little bit.
Okay.
Think about what you admire about the people you're comparing yourself to. What qualities or skills do they embody that you find inspiring?
Right.
And instead of feeling threatened or envious, use that as motivation.
Okay.
Turn comparison into inspiration.
I like that.
And I think you'll find that it can really fuel your own growth.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another deep dive.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.